Hello to you on YouTube and listening on Spotify. It's another episode of NRG Insights. This is the podcast where we talk to people inside the mortgage industry, whether that be lender, broker, or ancillary product, and influential people in the market, just to get their insights and find out a little bit about what's happening. So today I've got an interesting one. Actually, I've got Ian Humphreys, who's the CEO of BrickFlow, on. So thanks for joining me, Ian.
Hi, Marcus. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. So let's just start with. Tell people who don't know perhaps what BrickFlow is, and then talk about kind of how it came about.
Yeah, sure. So BrickFlow's a digital platform for sourcing commercial real estate finance. So it is the link, if you like, between the intermediary borrower side and lenders. So prior to us creating this platform, obviously everything was done very manually. Old school, picking up the phone, ringing around lenders, and trying to find the best deal for clients. Whereas we've tried to bring that all online and allow people to, source best value in the market much quicker, which hopefully helps with quicker deal execution.
Nice. And so how did it come to fruition? What was the thought process behind it, or your background?
Yeah, so I did some property development myself, and I always felt there was a tech play in this space. So I come from residential, like mortgage brokerage background, like that was my bread and butter. What had happened through the course of me being involved in that side of things is almost everything was completely online.
Yeah.
So all lender portals, sourcing systems, like CRMs, etc. Everything was very digitally focused. But then in this space, commercial real estate finance, there was almost nothing. And I was always curious as to why. That one, you've got a bank, for example, that operates in commercial real estate. Take Barclays. They operate in commercial real estate and they operate in residential buy-to-let. And on the residential and buy-to-let side, everything is completely automated. There's digital underwriting. It's very slick. It's very efficient. Well, you could argue it's not that slick and efficient, but like it's designed to be, right? But then on the commercial side, you've got almost none of that. So I was always curious as to why, and there are reasons as we've sort of found out. But I guess, like I say, I always thought there was a tech play in this space, and the thing for me was when I was doing my own projects was I found it very hard, even with like a 10+ year background in the space, to know that I had best value. And so in my head, I thought, well, if I'm struggling, how does Joe Public do it? And the answer is they don't, right? Most people in the space, they don't get the best loan. They don't get the best leverage. There's always someone that can probably do a slightly better deal. But because of the lack of transparency and opaqueness, you'll never actually know. So, yeah, for me, the lack of efficiency and the connectivity, which is really what, for me, technology solves, right? Connectivity and efficiency. That was really lacking. So we set about trying to index the market firstly, as a sourcing system, and then when we realised that a sourcing system wouldn't work in the industry because none of the lenders had online portals, we decided to design the application part of the process as well. So on the platform, if for those that aren't familiar, you can come on, you can source a loan, but then you can actually go all the way through to application with any of our lenders. So we've got 79, 80 lenders now on the platform.
So was that the plan from the beginning, or did that just naturally come through when you realised that it's tough to do the kind of there's no matrix as such for commercial, is there? So was it?
So you mean in terms of the application part? Yeah, so it was always designed that way. We always understood that there wouldn't be like a put. So when you're in the residential mortgage space, you look at a sourcing system. I mean, I haven't done this for years. I assume it's still like this. You look at a sourcing system, and then you go offline and you go into a lender portal. The frustration I think with that, and I think some of the sourcing systems now are connected to portals, so I might be a bit dated in my view. But my frustration with that was that if you key an application with Santander and Santander say no, then you go and start again with a completely new lender and key in the same information but in a slightly different order.
That has changed somewhat.
And so quite possibly, yeah, it's been a while since I've looked at any of these things. But what we've tried to do is standardize the application process. So essentially, we looked at it. I remember it was quite a long exercise. We basically got all the application forms from every single lender, and we put them all on individual spreadsheets on tabs, and we looked at the commonalities between the two. And 95% plus of the information that they're asking for is exactly the same. It's just it's laid out in a different way, but they're all so adamant there needs to be their application form. So we sort of said, well, look, actually, if we provide an application form that ticks all your boxes, is there any reason why you wouldn't accept ours? And almost everyone across the board has said, yeah, we're fine with that. Development finance, bridging, and commercial are the products that we offer. Yeah. In the bridging and commercial space, there's definitely more technology and starting to grow. In development finance, there's almost none. I don't think any. I think I'm correct in saying none of our lenders have their own portal for dev finance.
Why do you think that is?
Certainly for bridging and commercial,
they do. Variables. Why do you think that they just have never adopted?
I think. I mean, we've going back to the resi buy to let situation. I mean, the margins are super fine, right? In that space because there's a lot of competition. So you have to optimize. You have to use technology. Same with bridging, right? Bridging's become very competitive. There's a lot of lenders. You have to be efficient to maximize your margin, right? So again, the technology is a good way to do that. And it's the same in the commercial space. And I do also think that, with especially in the commercial space, the lenders that are more prevalent there are the players in the residential buy-to-let space that have already done this. Yeah. So this is just a continuation of the journey. It's just they've done it in the order of resi, buy-to-let. Now they're pivoting towards commercial. But the way we kind of see ourselves to lenders is an outsourced tech partner, right? So for lenders that haven't gone through that digital journey, they can effectively plug into BrickFlow and take and get origination from BrickFlow without having to go through that digital journey.
And how does it work with, obviously, with commercials a little bit different from resi, right? Because that's the deal. This is the best deal for your customer. That's the kind of, how do you, I suppose it's a difficult question for you because you're on the other side, but how do you manage things like deliverability and that, brokers go to the same person, not because it's always about rate, it's about everything else. Is there ways of kind of, I suppose, rating people, or is it how does it work on the system?
So there is an internal rating system on the platform. So brokers rate lenders rate brokers. It's not something we're actually making public yet. We will do later this year. To give it sort of an, self-policing is what we really want it to be, is that, and this feedback's useful, right? There are brokers certainly on the platform that perhaps this isn't their core business. And so for them to get feedback as to, perhaps what they could have added to the inquiry. So the way that it works is the broker presents the information. They create basically a virtual data room on the platform, and then the lender is invited in to come and look at it. Now, obviously, some of that we aim to get as much information as we can, broker borrower side, but there are going to be people that don't know what to put in those in some of those questions.
And you say that's going to come out?
And there's people that are just going to be. What's happening?
That's just going to come out. That's going to come out as soon as it's should. Obviously, you're going to be able to see your own rating to benefit you. It's not going to be or lenders. I suppose you can see everyone's, but for the broker, is it going to be like, this is what you need to do to improve, like a bit of a customer journey type help?
Yeah, exactly. The lenders are asked to provide commentary. So when they do a rating, they're asked to provide commentary around like the quality of the application, the knowledge of the broker, and the communication between both parties. So they can give tips as to say, look, if you'd done this, it would have been better, or we'd like to know more about this, or etc. etc. So the hope is that there's just a general uplift in knowledge and education.
I think that's amazing. But I mean, we're obsessed with a bit of the customer feedback side of things. We've just put new software in our system because you just don't know the bits you're not good at until someone feeds back to you. And if you love your job, then you should really love the negative as well, the feedback or the constructive feedback. You don't know what makes you better. Everyone knows their wins, right? You don't get better when you win, but if you can work out the bits.
When we introduced it, there was like internally, just within our company, people were like, oh, people are going to hate this. The lenders are only going to rate people highly because they don't want to turn people off. But actually, is so far anecdotally, it seems to be quite well received, and people are genuinely taking it as it's meant. It's like, to improve, not
to see who's getting the 1 star, is it? It's to see exactly. It's how do you improve your journey? How it's going to make you more money in the long run if you take on feedback from lenders, and vice versa as well, right?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Good. That makes sense. And genuinely, if people don't like feedback, like I'm concerned about people that won't take negative, or not negative feedback, constructive feedback. That would be a big concern of me. Like, none of us have the finished article. I've been doing this years, and I still cock stuff up all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people I've met through life that are that way inclined, but yeah, it's a mystery to me.
So on the back to the platform for the non-core business people, as you put before. So this isn't their bag. Is this helping them not have to maybe not go to packages or anything like that? But is it helping them understand the journey a bit better? If it's not their core business, or is it not aimed at those guys? So where is it kind of? Was it best placed?
So the core users at the moment. So I think I'm right. So we have about 185 companies now that pay to use the platform, broker side. So brokers, debt advisors, and almost all of them are specialists.
Yeah.
So this is something that their core business, or is a decent chunk of it. There are definitely people that are looking to expand into the space more, but I would say most of the people on the platform are the specialists. For me, like the way that the platform's designed is it makes it easy for people to get through, to extract and it's really just to extract the information that the lender wants, right? It's been designed, the questions we ask have been designed in conjunction with lenders, right? So the whole idea, and it's not because, I don't know to ask those questions as a broker. It's just sometimes I forget, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I don't always remember that I need to. So it's there as prompts. But yeah, if you were new to the space, you would be able to get through. The key difference, I think, is whether you appear credible to your customer, right? That's the difference. So for me, like the technology that is there to help the advice process and for people to be more efficient. And I guess the whole the reason I started it really is that as a broker, I found in the commercial space that of 5 days a week, 4 were spent admin, chasing, researching, right?
Yeah.
And maybe half a day to 1 day was spent prospecting, finding new customers. So in my head, I thought if I could flip that, if I could invert that metric where I could spend 1 day admin research and 4 days prospecting, what would that do to my business? Like in terms of my ability to earn, right?
Yeah. That's the whole point of tech,
how much better I could be for.
Sorry, I'll just.
Yeah, and how much better I could be for my clients, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think.
Yeah, so
over our job, is it? It's supposed to making hands when we're not sat doing admin, and winning business.
Exactly. And the way I like to sort of think about it is almost like you're an outsourced FD. Yeah. So if you're a decent broker in this space, that's who you are. You're the outsourced FD, right? To an SME property investor that, is perhaps 1-2 people, 5 people, 10 people, they don't have that in-house like expertise to navigate what we've said, as we've already said, an opaque market, but just the general like understanding of debt structuring. They don't have that expertise. So my thinking is that if the decent brokers spend less time doing all the chasing, the admin, the nonsense stuff that you do when everything's manual, you can actually spend more time with your customers, right? You can sit down with them and say, right, where do you want to be in 10 years? I can help you get there. Let's plan this together. Not, what do you need today, Miss Cut? Right, bridge on there. Great, I'll do that. And then, I'll spend the next 4 weeks chasing it through. And then it's just very tactical, right? Whereas my hope is that with the technologies, people can be a lot more strategic.
That speaks volumes to me about being a consultant rather than just a broker. Actually really adding value to someone because you're not doing the shit that you've always had to deal with on the other side.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And again, start back about recruitment. It's the same thing for us. If we've got enough people doing enough of the stuff the laborious stuff, then we can actually concentrate and grow people's businesses. It's exactly the same. Works for any consultant, right? On any nature of any business. If you can concentrate on the bit that's worth the most money to your customer for the longest amount of time, that's where we should all be.
Yeah. Exactly. So, the margin end.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do that thing, that activity inventory side of things. When you know how much your worth is when you're at the top of your game, and then you work out all the stuff that you're doing in the day that isn't at the top of your game. It's ridiculous how much money you're wasting on doing crap.
Yeah.
Talking about the market, how are you finding it? Just looking at some stats from your, I peeled this off earlier on, but 1,000 searches in Q1, nearly 2,000 searches in bridging. And it's 50% up on next year. Obviously, you're getting better known in the market, so there's got to be that side of things as well. But clearly, 50% on the year before is a big jump. How are you seeing the market? How are you seeing what are brokers telling you?
Yeah, so I think the product's been very well received. Like we've had a good start. Like we're about 18 months since we launched to brokers. It's been well received. I think the thing to understand is that whether brokers like it or not, their customers want that experience of being able to see the market. What we have what we call our enterprise product, which allows you to white label our software and put it in your website, but also in partner websites. So estate agents, auction houses, accountants, solicitors, wherever you get your introductions from, you can go and put your software correct. Yeah, that's exactly what it's designed for. Is that, if you've got an estate agent, it gets decent traffic across their website, 99.9% of people are not buying from them. It's only a small fraction of their website traffic that actually ends up buying from them. So for an agent, the benefit is with our software is that the usability, the experience increases because they can see in real time where the market's pricing on property that they're selling. Yeah. So that's a great uplift in experience for the user. And, increases like time on website and obviously, hopefully, increases the number of people that might convert to buy from them. But what it does enable them to do is that website traffic, if they complete the search, they then become effectively a customer of the broker that is connected to that agent, which then allows them, they'll have an agreement between themselves on commission that then allows them to obviously monetize traffic they wouldn't ordinarily receive anything from. So for the broker,
I think
works really
as
well.
well, credibility as well, right? If you're maybe a 3 or 4 broker business, to have that kind of kit, which is clearly cost a few quid, to have that on your website and white labeled as you, that your credibility factor goes up in the sense that you've got something tangible you can show people that they can work with through your website. I think that's a massive part of it, surely credibility side of things.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think also the journey as it is today between broker and agent typically is agent emails the broker, got a guy for you to call, broker's busy with something else, doesn't call them. Week later, what happened with so and so? Oh shit, forgot to call him. I'll call him now. No, sorry, I'm dealing with somebody else. Like, just not a great
Yeah,
experience. Whereas what the tech does is not only enhance the user experience, agent website side, but then also is a better experience for the partners, the agent and the broker, because everything is tracked. Right, there's a record of everything. The broker can at any time can dial up a report based on lead flow coming through that channel. The agent can obviously go and put those links anywhere they like, so they can put them in their website, they can put them on social media, they can put them in email footers. Same with the broker, they can go and put them wherever they like, but they can run a campaign against all of these. So they create unique links. They can can create as many as they want, and they
right.
can run different campaigns against it, and then they can understand what's working, what's not. They can optimize. But the thing for the broker is they're fishing a bit further upstream, aren't they? Because
Yeah.
and this is the point, is that you're getting people when they're looking at that, they're starting the journey, rather than somebody who's found something, needs to move really quickly, and is then just
Yeah.
concerned about best price, right? Like,
Yeah.
who's going to give me the best price? Whereas
And
you get in
are people
earlier in the
using?
journey, you're actually adding value throughout the journey, and there's that better relationship between like you've just said, like you said before, the consultancy,
Yeah.
client advisor relationship, which we all want.
And are people using for that yet? Is it like, because I didn't even know that side of the business actually. It's just like it's a great marketing tool as well, right? Just a lead generation marketing tool, as well as obviously a sourcing system as well. That's
Yeah,
and are people adopting it for that now? They're starting to see the benefit in catching customers further
yeah.
down the
So
line.
we've had we've had some decent traction on it. So we've got one of the brokers down in the southwest. They've just partnered with, I think they're one of the biggest agents in the southwest, called Mags and Allen.
Yeah,
So they are Mags and Allen now have their white labeled version of our software on their website.
right.
So anyone that's on the Mags and Allen website and wants to do a search, they can do that search, and then that lead, effectively, that client information filters through to the broker on the other side. We've got a couple of brokers integrating with auction houses, so we help them create these we help them get the partnerships working. So our tech team will help support them do the implementation, and if they need it. So yeah, we're starting to see more and more of it. We're at the moment, our software is in about 65, 70 websites, which is brokers owned or partners.
Yeah.
But you'd expect that probably to double or treble this year.
And what is the plan for BrickFlow in regards to your kind of your growth plan, if you like? Because obviously you're hitting the specialist lending market now, but do you think there's a wider market for like those resi guys moving into it, and do you see it as a ever growing product?
I think for us, like we'll definitely stay specialist side. There's people that obviously do the resi buy to let stuff, um,
Yeah,
but we're always guided by our customers. So if customers are asking for new products, we get asked a bit about asset finance? Are we going to consider that? And so there's definitely demand for other products, but in terms of what we'll do next, we're not certain. What we do want to do really is just
once you've got the system or the code, if you like, then the product becomes kind of not irrelevant, but you can change it to another product. Like you say, you can change it to asset finance. It's just building it from the bottom again with the lenders and going through the process again once you've got the core business.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So once you've got the infrastructure, to the journey is all you're designing, right? So it's journey and criteria. So yeah, it's relatively simple to add new products once you've got this end-to-end infrastructure, which we now have. I think what we want to concentrate now on is really optimizing the UX, the user experience, both sides. So for the brokers and for lenders, just to so that everyone's very comfortable in the platform, and it just becomes like something that you use every day, right? You use all day, every day. Like you're not on email anymore trying to do deals. You're in BrickFlow trying to do deals. So that's a focus for the near future is to improve for the journey for both sides, and also to improve that borrower piece, that front end piece that then brings the leads into the brokers. That's a main focus for us.
Okay, good. And so, if anyone wants to get hold of you in regards to kind of speaking about the product and that kind of thing, what's the best ways to speak to you? I mean, obviously, all your socials will be all over ours when we get this out. But who's best to speak to, and how they get hold of you?
Yeah, so come to the website brickflow.com. It will take you to a landing page which tell you about all our pricing and what the product does. And we have a dedicated sales team. It's headed up by a guy called Fraser Campbell, and you've got Tessa and Anna who are within that team as well as customer success. Head to the website. And that it will guide you through the sign up process.
Amazing. Thank you very much for your time today. I genuinely appreciate it. I think it's I love getting the products because I do think it's useful, and lenders alike. I do think it's not everyone knows about every product, right? So it's always useful to get on, and these always are well taken by the audience as well, because you don't know what you don't know. Especially, like I said, you might know the product, but after speaking to you, there's so many little nuances that are going to benefit people. Then it's really useful to know. So thank you.
Brilliant. No, thanks for having me, mate. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. Right, nice to speak to you. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. I will catch up with you soon. Cheers, Ian.
Cheers, Marcus.